Surprise, everybody, it's Deep Dive Zone, a Sonic review series for fans of all shapes and sizes. I'm your host, Evan, joined as always by my co-hosts, Lauren and Bruce, and today we have a surprise, which is that I screwed up last week. I thought 175 was today, and I completely forgot about the free comic book day issue.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It happens, we'll start with it next week. Anyway, that can only mean one thing, which is that we're talking about some Sonic the Hedgehog comic books today, some Archie Sonic. And we're starting off here with Sonic the Hedgehog number 171. Shadow is fucking pissed.
Yep, it's great.
We're doing a little bit more of character fixing here.
Yeah, I like that it looks like Sonic is trying to stop him in this image when he clearly wouldn't.
It depends on how far Shadow goes.
It depends. If Shadow's just gonna straight up kill Eggman, I think Sonic would stop him.
Archie Sonic? I don't know.
I think any version of Sonic would, in some way, want Eggman to stand some kind of trial.
Yeah, I think Archie Sonic probably would.
Maybe. Anyway, the story here is called I Am, just like good old Shadow the Hedgehog the game. Shadow finally splits from Dr. Eggman to investigate the diary of Gerald Robotnik, but he'll need Sonic's help to access it, and it's Flynn and Yardley as expected. And yeah, we're not wasting any time. Shadow is messing up Eggman and Snively looking for Gerald's diary.
I do like that he has Snively by the hair.
This is important to remember this.
It is important to remember this.
Yes. Also, only for this issue. It's not a Jensen trait, it's not a Yardley trait, whatever. Shadow is gray this issue.
Yeah, I noticed that. I thought it was just supposed to be lighting in these panels, but he's gray throughout the issue.
Yeah.
I did not notice that at all. That's weird.
It is odd. It doesn't look bad. It just looks odd.
Yeah. Don't know what happened there. But anyway.
Yeah.
Eggman does not want to give up the diary, but Snively is scared enough of Shadow pulling out his hair that he tells him it's in Eggman's study. And then Shadow pulls out his hair anyway.
Of course, because Shadow's a grumpy bastard.
Yeah.
I love the visual on this of Eggman with the keyboard on his head. and Snively be like, he took my hair, and so what? Bald is beautiful. They were my last 6 hairs.
This is a trait about Snively that I forgot about because it originates from Sat AM, actually. I don't even know if these comics have even touched on that really before, that he actually doesn't like being and having no hair.
I don't think they have. I think this is the first time they've really touched on that.
Oh yeah, because he started losing his hair because of the stress from the fucking freedom fighters.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, Shadow does indeed ransack the library, and I like the visual gag where he's holding a book, says this is the diary, and then inside the book is a disc.
I like that he's also still holding the hair.
This is weird.
He doesn't let it go of it for a long time, which is really funny.
It's a standard trope to see the to hide something inside of a book. So
yeah, it's where Eggman was hiding it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Meanwhile, at home, Sonic, well, he still can't find Fiona. She was kind of not hanging around very much last time, and Sonic is still wondering what's going on. Tails is still angsty.
This is so stupid. Like,
it's really
the two of them can't talk, apparently. Tails just runs. Like, I can't talk this out. Goodbye.
Well, so part of it is we'll see later is that Tails knows a little bit more of what Sleuth told him the last time Fiona we saw her, but
yeah.
And it's also weird because like Tails flies off here and then he has to fly right back because Shadow's outside. So like you may as well axe that entire exchange.
Yeah, probably.
He's being pursued by egg zappers from Sonic Heroes. And, well, they damage the disc right before Sonic can break them.
Of course,
this is a strange... Yeah, I guess you have to have a tragedy with Shadow, but it's very strange. It's like, this is the only time I've seen the fact that Sonic characters don't carry things in, like, pockets or a backpack being a problem.
Yeah.
That's a good point, because, like, you always have to kind of glide over how they're getting all the Chaos Emeralds with them without, a backpack or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but, that's why we joke about certain things.
Yeah. Anyway, but, yeah, the disc gets slightly damaged in that, or I guess it's pretty major damage. It's a big ass crack in it, but
yeah, there's a big crack in it. It got burnt.
Yeah. And it's pretty crazy though, because Sonic snarks at him, but you can tell how serious this is for Shadow because he apologizes.
This is crazy. Yeah,
Shadow is like desperate.
Well, Lauren, I remember you saying in Sonic X number 40 how like, wow, Shadow has changed a lot. This is the issue why.
Yes. Okay, because they've completely rewritten them. Yeah, right. Like it was a sudden change.
It is pretty sudden, but also it's not. I would say it's not like far. It's not like he ever didn't care about Gerald and Maria. It's just that the other comics just didn't touch on him most of the time. Outside of Hope, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, Shadow asks for their help recovering the data on the disc, and Sonic's like, "All right,
yeah, sure, fair enough. Sonic would help."
Yeah, but unfortunately, Tails is not good at. Okay, so I was supposed to say Tails is not good at data recovery. It's fucking cracked. You can't do a lot with it that way.
Yeah, that's not really Tails' fault.
Yeah.
Under normal circumstances, that should be like completely unrecoverable.
Yeah, under normal circumstances, I'd agree, but I mean,
yeah, like the PSP version of Sonic Generations, it was a UMD they found with a big crack in it, but they couldn't really get the data off.
God,
it probably would have just been like the 3DS version anyway.
Still, it would be nice to see for sure.
Yeah. But anyway, Tails is struggling with it, but Nicole interjects and says, if we Tron cyberspace warp inside the data ourselves, then you will be able to view some of the corrupted data, which they just
apparently
kind of do.
Yeah, they just kind of do.
The thing you can do.
They don't have like a digitizer thingy here,
No, they just do it,
I didn't think about that. I just kind of assumed it's a thing you can do, but you're right. We never actually even see how they interface.
I'm trying to think if they've done this before. I know we've seen Eggman and Snively in cyberspace.
Well, when they became data, so that was because they were backed up.
Yeah, because they were robots at that point.
Right.
I don't know. That's not really the priority of this issue, so I don't know. But they do it, and hey, Nicole has her links form from that one comic. I'm just noting its appearances here. I like her, but Shadow does not want to waste any time, so she doesn't really get to be the focus here. I do love this next page where an alarm starts going off, and we have to have Tails. I love Tails' face here as he reacts to the fact that Snively has his hairs individually tracked.
That is the face I think most people would be making. Like, what? He has his hairs tracked?
Yeah, at this moment I was like, wait, it was important that Shadow was just grabbing the hairs randomly? Like, it's funny, but you didn't explain why Shadow even brought it this far.
Yeah, why did Shadow just throw him away? It's insane. I love it.
Yeah, the priorities. His fist was clenched, and he didn't think to unclench it.
Right, because it takes an effort to unclench a fist, usually. No.
It's Five Nights at Freddy's rule. The door requires power to stay closed. Anyway, I have an egg lobster, and I know how to use it.
I love that line.
Yeah. And, Knuckles fights him. I like that he says he's doing it because he sympathizes with Shadow, although it's very funny to explain that while you're punching the crap out of somebody.
Typical comic stuff, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So, yes, we actually get to see Maria and Gerald here, and they look like they do in the games rather than in that one comic where they colored Maria wrong.
So, it's funny. There's I saw the degrading background, and I immediately knew what was coming up. There's a meme coming.
We'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
But yeah, big exposition and character writing sort of in tandem scene here. We get the explanation of Maria's disease. We get a little bit of the black arms. It's all pretty similar to the games.
It's similar enough, at least, with some Archie flair.
And it's very funny when Gerald is like, oh, by the way, the black arms will return in 50 years. And Nicole's like, wait, what? And Sonic's like, yeah, because they're kind of late because they're fighting
they're busy.
the Zorda right now. And I'm like, that's funny. So they made up this excuse so they didn't have to adapt that part. Gotcha.
At least not yet.
Well, I guess not until they're ready. To at some point.
Sure.
But there is something a little different from the game, is notably that I don't know exactly how SA2 happened in this continuity, but they seem to be okay having Gerald himself deliver the message here, which I always think is kind of funny because I'm pretty sure he still tried to kill the world with the Ark, but this is before he went crazy.
This is before he went crazy, yeah.
Right.
This is when Gerald was still normal enough.
Yeah. But he tells Shadow that he wanted Shadow to be a protector, a savior.
Okay, yeah.
And I always kind of got the impression that Shadow was like a cure and a weapon, like he says here, but he kind of decided on his own path because of Maria. Here, Maria is just nice, and Gerald tells him, you're the hero guy. So, I guess it's not that different, but it is a change.
Yeah.
But, importantly, it means that Shadow finally has some semblance of his same direction from the games. He's not going to be awkwardly working with Eggman when that doesn't make any sense.
Right. It's sick. That's all I really care about, to be honest.
Yep. But the data is collapsing. Everyone needs to leave now. Shadow has a lot more questions, but Maria's like, I'll always live on in your memories. And here's the hamburger.
What do you want from McDonald's?
Borgar.
When I saw that panel, I was like, what the heck is going on in that comic? But actually, like, this is way more mundane than I expected.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense in context.
Yeah. It has to suck for Shadow. He probably feels like he's losing it all over again.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
That's some Peace Walker shit going on, but
ooh, yeah.
And I do like the visual structure of this, how the panels literally are falling apart as the data corrupts.
Yeah. That's a nice little detail.
Good visual work on Yardley's part. Anyway, Shadow hears that Snively's here for revenge. He grabs his hairs off the table, beats the lobster in one shot. That's gotta feel a little embarrassing for Knuckles, if I'm honest.
Shadow is the ultimate life form.
Yeah.
You can't compare yourself to him too much.
Yeah. But he slaps the hairs into Snively's face, declares he's the protector of Mobius. This is who I am!
I was waiting for the "this is who I am." I knew
that was going to happen. I love it.
Story.
And yeah, we end on Sonic saying, "What the fuck's going on with Fiona? We gotta do that next issue."
Yeah, do we have?
I didn't really mention it, but they just couldn't stop talking about Fiona in this issue. Like the whole way through, they just kept mentioning them.
Oh, I know. I'm so tired of Fiona.
Well, yeah. Yeah, no. Other than that, it's a perfectly good story. It's
it's a fine story.
It's definitely more correction work, but
yeah, it's more correction work, but it's still fine.
Yeah.
Well, there is one other story in this issue. It's Enforcers. Still Flynn and Yardley. I didn't even say that first time because at this point you can assume. But the reconstruction of Echidnaopolis is under attack from Dingo Squad stragglers. Locke has no backup, but finds an unstable alliance in the form of Dr. Finitivus. So, yeah, the legions of Cage von Stryker, even though he's dead, I think. Is he dead? No, he's not dead yet. He dies later.
Okay, I didn't think he was dead yet.
Sorry, I guess I just spoiled that, but also who cares about Cage von Stryker?
I think I already had that spoiled for me like 2 years ago.
Doesn't matter. I probably said it during his arc because
you or Kayla probably mentioned it.
Anyway, guys that worked for him are attacking.
Right.
And also the Destructics.
Yes, of all the people to protect them, the Goon Squad.
That's right. They're helping actually fight them. That's right.
They are helping, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're still keeping this weird balance with Finitivus where we know he's sinister, but he isn't quite putting things in motion yet.
Right. He's important enough to keep around as ally's not the right word, but
yeah. And that is interesting, but we've got this whole Dark Legion Civil War thing going on. I want to see that, please.
Yeah, they've mentioned it, but they're not actually showing it, which is annoying.
We know that Leon Da is leading one side of it. We have not had a word spared for whoever's holding the second side. They just don't say it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yes, Finitivus is having the goons help, and Locke is very skeptical of that.
That's understandable.
And he's like, "Oh, you expect me to believe you, the Dark Legion, really have our best interests in mind?" Which
fair.
Pot me kettle, but also Locke is correct about that.
Locke is very much correct about that, as much as we don't like him.
Yeah, but he also doesn't have much of a choice. There's not many others that can defend his people.
Yep.
especially when Finidivus brings out Dimitri.
Oh my gosh. He's ahead in the present now, too.
They've turned him into a fucking pet here as well.
It's great.
He had the head in a bubble form in 25 years later. But we have not seen the Mobius Prime version of this dude in years.
Yo, yeah, it's been a while.
The last time he was here was all the way back in Sonic 118 when Gruckles exploded to save him from Mogul.
So that was 60-some issues ago.
And a year in universe. More even.
A year in universe, yeah. And also, like, years and years of release. Wow.
Yeah. My suspicion was that back during the Return to Angel Island Eggman their stuff, you know, they were treating him as if he were dead.
Right.
But they never said that. You know, especially since he was dying before, but they never said that. And yes, he is officially bubble-headed in the main timeline, and this is how he will remain for the rest of the series.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Anyway,
so silly, I love it.
Finidivus says he'll keep the echidnas safe, and he sends Locke off. He's just like, hey, you know, now you can finally look for the Brotherhood. That's what you wanted, right? And I love it because, you know, he's so manipulative, and Locke knows he's playing him, but of course he does it anyway. He just can't help himself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is like a prime flawed Locke moment, because Locke is like so wrapped up in the Brotherhood. It's like, you can't have Angel Island without the Brotherhood of Guardians. So like, if we just find them, everything will be fixed in their head. But this is very much a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's really good. I like it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it's your moment. I'm liking the direction that Finidivus is going.
Yeah. So the Destructics are celebrated as heroes for their efforts. Finidivus steps into the Master Emerald Chamber, and Dimitri is basically like, man, fuck ass. I didn't want to lie for you in all this, because they are sort of they're rebooting the dynamic now. Finidivus is the evil echidna, and Dimitri is the more principled one.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, he feels awful about being made to vouch for him because he knows that Finidivus has an evil master plan. Right. He's like, we're just supposed to unify the Dark Legions, get rid of the dingoes, and then let me die. He says this indignity can't go on, neither can my life.
Odd.
Well, I mean, he's a floating cyber head in a bubble.
Yeah, I can't blame. No, I don't blame him. Yeah.
Anyone in that position would maybe think, am I supposed to still be alive at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how recent this was either. That's
true. That's
Dimitri
true.
might not be used to it.
Yeah, Finidivus might have done this to him like back when he first disappeared.
Yeah. Or, like Lauren's saying, relatively recent, so he may be feeling the burn of being this instead of having a body.
Right.
Right.
But the more things change, the more they stay the same, and Finidivus pledges to bring back Enerjack.
Oh boy.
Well, that's a name I didn't expect to hear again.
Absolute cinema. So, yeah, good issue.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So let's go from a good issue to a controversial issue. This is, Sonic number 172, and you can tell it was controversial even before it was released, because it's designed like a tabloid magazine cover.
Yeah, it's supposed to fire you up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is... I don't know whose idea that was. Maybe it was Spaziant, maybe it was somebody else, but whoever's idea that was, good idea. Although it's a lot of empty space on here for the first cover Spaziant had done in like half a year. I wonder if it's because of the Sonic X comics maybe we're keeping him busy.
Maybe.
I don't know. But yes, the story here. Truth of the Heart, Flynn and Yardley. Tensions run high at Freedom HQ as Amy accuses Fiona of treason. Treason of the heart, that is. Sonic isn't so sure, but Scourge is here to ruin his investigation anyway.
Damn.
And yeah, we open with violence. We're just kind of dropped into this.
For some reason, Amy's round hammer creates a heart indentation in the ground, or not indentation, but like the cloud scatter, the dust scatters that way.
It's her special Psyloop power from Frontiers 14 years in advance.
Wow.
Okay, sure, why not?
No, I'm kidding. It's just for visual effects, but
yeah,
I didn't even notice that.
I didn't either, actually. That's interesting.
Anyway, Fiona acts like she doesn't know what's going on, but Amy knows what's going on, and so does Fiona, which is that Amy says Tails learned what Sleuth blackmailed her with and told her she's been cheating on Sonic with Scourge.
Odd.
And,
that's certainly an idea.
Wouldn't be my first choice, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, so Fiona doesn't quite confirm this, but she shifts into Mean Girls mode, which makes it so incredibly obvious that there's no middle ground here.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It feels like there's between this and Rouge that one time. It feels like they really struggle to find the right balance for amoral women. I don't know. And also it's weird because Amy is filled with rage, and then we just cut to Sonic watching all this going on.
Yeah, and Sonic's like, I never trust anything Amy says. Which, what is that a thing?
I don't. Well, yeah.
It's a response because Fiona says Sonic would never believe you, and then Sonic says that's not saying much. I take anything Amy says with a shaker of salt. But Sonic does take Amy's claim seriously.
Well, he also then later in this story says he trusts Amy and Tails.
Yeah.
So
I guess he was just lying to Fiona.
I wouldn't call it a lie. I think it would be that he's not jumping to conclusions. I don't know. But he reins in Amy and he's like, all right, Fiona, let's calm down, let's talk about all this. Sonic is amazingly chill about all this, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. After Amy tries to beat up Fiona, Sonic's like, thanks for looking out for me. Like, yeah, that's looking out for you.
I mean, it kind of is in a way. But yes, he tries to get what's going on from her, but she is immediately aggressive and defensive, claiming he's accusing her of still being a villain and ignoring the good things she's done.
Okay.
Well, he's not, but it is. No. It's like, because I've talked about this a little bit, how Fiona has been treated with suspicion basically from the moment that Ian started writing these comics.
Yeah.
And we've learned about her life of crime a little bit up to this point. But this is the Event Horizon moment, because Sonic eventually says, I'm not ignoring the good things you've done, but I also have noticed, we've also noticed you weren't into me until after the whole Scourge impersonation thing, which I didn't expect them to bring up again. And that gives her pause for thought. Which, again, I think would be interesting if you did something with that, but then she just shifts back into Mean Girls mode.
Because I think it's just pause of oh, you're actually on to me.
Probably.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. We're trying to extend an olive branch, but he takes Amy and Tails' words seriously, and so she's decided that means you can't possibly trust me. And, well, she's like, I tried to work with you, but meh, I don't care enough. So anyway, here's Scourge.
Yeah, Scourge just appears.
Yep.
They make it sound like Scourge just has too much bad boy attitude for Sonic to keep up. But I really think it's just that none of Sonic's friends seem to like Fiona except the 8-year-old who can't take the hint.
Yeah.
Because as we'll see, well, you know what? We've already seen none of Scourge's friends are any good for this either, so I don't know.
True.
Does Scourge have friends?
Yeah, the anti-freedom fighters are not his friends. They're more like his...
Exactly.
His lackeys. I don't even think they like him, actually. Or not like him. I don't even think they put up with him anymore. They kicked him out.
Yeah.
Is that what it was? Yeah, maybe.
I think that's what happened.
I don't remember. I blocked a lot of those comics out of my mind because they were bad. Anyway, but Scourge is predictably awful to Sonic over this. And this is where, Sonic, he can't keep up any facade of coolness at this point. Credit to Yardley's illustrations for showing him very much not in control.
Yeah, Sonic is losing it.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's like... The girlfriend cheating on me with the villain plotline is, I don't know, just a weird idea for these comics.
Yeah, I mean, the aggressive focus on relationships in general is always strange to me in these comics.
So I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I mean, they're not built for it, certainly, but
yeah, that's my problem.
This specific plotline, people are just really weird about this online.
I don't like any of this personally.
Yeah,
this is all.
I don't like it, but I also like part of it is I have a knee jerk reaction to like fans being weird about things.
Sure. No,
and
I'm just.
Yeah, this next page is a good example of that because.
Oh God, yeah.
Tails flies down and begs on his hands and knees for Fiona to please stay away from Scourge. You don't have to be with me, but you can't go to him. And Fiona brings him in real close, steals a line from The Incredibles, and slaps him in the face.
So this is what, 2 issues now that have that are controversial part that involve a slap?
A slap and a breakup? Yep.
Yeah.
Now, this single moment made a lot of fans. You know, I'm not saying Fiona is justified in any of this, but there is a point where like you realized a lot of fans are just weird about women. A lot of fans were weird about women after this moment. I'm going to post in Discord right now a drawing that someone commissioned Yardley to do.
Oh God.
When you see things like this...
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Again, I'm not saying Fiona's in the right here, but you gotta be kind of weird to commission this. This is also evidence that Yardley will draw fucking anything other than porn if you give him money, but
I mean, I can't blame an artist for
I don't blame him.
I'm not even judging, it's just really funny.
Oh, that's fucking wild.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. This whole thing, I'm like kind of ambivalent about. I'm like, I don't really care about Fiona as a character. I don't care about this relationship that popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think that's like, my biggest issue is that it would be one thing if Fiona's and Sonic's relationship had any fleshing out and they actually show like I'm not even blaming Ian Flynn for this, like because Ian Flynn he inherited this.
Yeah, I think that part of his
I can't remember the timing.
Yes, yeah.
Sure?
Sonic and Fiona were
oh, you're right. They just did nothing with it yet.
Yeah, they were. Sonic and Fiona were the very tail end of Pender's run, or maybe not quite the tail end.
I think it's certainly possible that breaking up Sonic and Fiona was an editorial thing. You know, the same as all of the other changes we've been going through.
Yeah, but so if their relationship had more fleshing out from any of the writers, from either writer, from Penders, from Flynn, I wouldn't be so.
I don't know if they were even together under Ballers. Actually,
I don't think they were, but in case they were, from Ballers as well. I wouldn't find this whole relationship frustrating if it had been fleshed out, which it wasn't. And in turn, they're trying to make this a big deal. It doesn't feel like a big deal.
Yeah, I was like, until Fiona slapped Tails, I was just like, all right, guys, pack up, leave.
Yeah,
like,
honestly.
Why are we still talking? Like, just let Fiona leave.
The slap doesn't need to be here. It could have just been her, like, I don't know, dunking on him emotionally. You don't have to beat the child.
Yeah, this is the pattern I think that we're observing with these early Flynn comics, because we're seeing the seeds planted for really good Ian Flynn writing. Last issue was an example of that. The one from last week before that was an example of that. But then we're also seeing that whenever they need to make a big correction of something and have big status quo change, the strategy is to just overact as much as possible and go as hard as you can on the presentation. And I'm not saying it makes it unentertaining, because it is more entertaining than any of the stupid relationship drama previously, because it has people beating the crap out of each other. But it means that, like, with this, the same as with some of the stuff in Darkest Storm, the same as with, you know, the Sir Connery moment, the big emerald thing, is like, if we make it big and loud, maybe they won't notice, but I'm still noticing.
we're still noticing. Yeah, it's like we can acknowledge
There's too much at once is the thing.
We can acknowledge some of the stuff is kind of cool, like the Sir Connery moment. Wow, insane and completely out of left field was kind of cool.
Well, they're now a memorable character in my head. Like I would not have remembered them otherwise.
The Emerald thing is just insane, but like in the best way possible.
Yeah.
This is just like drama for drama's sake.
Yes, indeed, and it's no better exemplified than with Scourge, who honestly doesn't belong here because like
Scourge literally does nothing but show up and say "fuck you, Sonic," and then laugh at Tails for getting slapped.
Well, it's a little more than that because like if you want to make the case that Fiona can't be with Sonic because he's a hero, that's an interesting idea. The idea that means she has to be with Scourge, the worst guy ever, makes it a little harder to believe. I don't know, but and Scourge also says the fact that she's from your universe and not my evil universe, that's a turn on, which is so weird.
Which is
okay. This line has some interesting implications about free will, though, because they specifically say all the girls in my home dimension are dark from the get-go, but Fiona chooses to be.
Right.
Huh? What's that supposed to mean?
There's no evil women in Sonic's home universe? What are you talking about?
Well, no,
also,
saying that Fiona chose to be evil.
Yeah, that doesn't.
I wouldn't.
No, I don't get it. It's like, are the other universes templated off the main universe?
I mean,
like,
yes,
is that how this works?
Yeah, definitely.
That's just bizarre, though.
But he's also wrong, so I don't know. It's just a weird. You don't need to put that in there.
Yeah.
What is here is that one bad day exchange from Batman.
Oh yeah.
Where the Joker says, all it would take is one bad day. I don't know if he does it in the Heath Ledger Joker. I don't know any shit about Batman, but that is a Joker line. I know that much. And that makes sense because Scourge is a Facebook Joker profile picture guy given hedgehog form.
Oh, definitely.
And it's, I don't know, it's just kind of weird here because the comic never does anything with the idea that Sonic's morals could ever be in question. And case in point, he immediately decides to turn around on Scourge and say, well, you could just as easily not be an evil dipshit. And for some reason, this gets to him. I don't know. It's really weird.
He's like, I never considered that all my logic and my big talk could be just flipped on its head like that.
Maybe that is why they put all the girls in my home dimension are dark from the get-go. Maybe it's that Scourge is assuming that because he's the bad Sonic, he has to be. And Sonic's like, no, you don't. He's like, shit, maybe I don't.
Unfortunately, we all know that's not true. He does have to be.
Yeah. Anyway, then Fiona kicks Sonic. Amy steps in and, well, they're outnumbered, so they decide to just leave.
Yeah.
And yeesh, yeah.
It's a lot.
But hey, at least this should finally close the book on the whole Tails Fiona Sonic thing.
No, of course it. Well, I mean, on that part of it, yeah, but
yeah.
It'll at least close the book on Sonic and Fiona. I'm assuming Tails is still going to be
Anyway, so Tails runs off to go talk to his mom. And then Antoine shows up to tease the next issue, and when he hears about what happens, he decides, all right, enough is enough. I'm gonna do something important. And then we end. That's our cliffhanger. Is the important Antoine decision.
It's an interesting.
Nice.
It's an interesting cliffhanger with the context of what comes next.
Well, it's deceptive, but yes,
it is
a little bit. But it is also funny because like we're Antoine likers. I bet most fans of the time weren't. So you have to have a lot of faith in the writing to be able to have this.
Sure.
So big blah story, relationship drama. Anyway, second story here is worth the effort. Flynn and Tanya Del Rio. I believe this is the last thing that Tanya Del Rio drew. But it is Amy and Julie Sue training and talking about stuff, and that's basically the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is fine. It's not really bad, but it's a little superfluous. But
It's a backup story.
Yeah, so Julie Sue wakes up Amy for some cool combat training, but Amy is sleepy. And, I suppose we've never seen these two interact before, so that's kind of neat.
Yeah, I guess we haven't.
It's funny that Amy says Sonic's phrase, "Let's do it to it," as they're half awake.
I thought that was Sally's.
Wait, is it?
I don't remember. Someone's. It's been too long since I've seen Sad AM.
Well, that's weird then. Well, I guess it works either way.
She's not Sally's friend, but
yeah.
Anyway, they portray Julie as this kind of rugged, sort of personal trainer type.
Yeah.
And Amy is so tired she walks into the river by mistake. They get on those poles from the 3rd episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and Amy just struggles to land hits on her while she jumps and lands on the hammer. I guess it's that they're trying to portray them as different skill levels, since Amy was kind of not really proper agent of the Freedom Fighters for a lot of time because she was a little kid, and now she's not that because of reasons. So I guess it's to sort of further justify her physical combat prowess improving.
Yeah.
Right.
But it also means that Amy explains that she asked for Julie Sue's help because she says, if I get really fast and good at fighting, that means Sonic will pay attention to me the same way that Knuckles does for you.
Then Julie nobly tries to explain to Amy how that's not how that works. It doesn't work. It doesn't work on Amy.
It's showing a lot. It's showing more of what we saw in that Dear Ally comic back in the Adventure era.
Oh God,
which is that Amy still has a really immature and transactional view of love. Yeah, Julie's like, Knuckles is a guy who allowed me to be vulnerable and who listens to things I say, and is not just a good sparring partner. And the only time that Sonic showed Amy any intimacy was to calm her down from Scourge's lies. So she's like, Amy, you need to figure yourself out first. And Amy's like, no, I do focus on myself. Myself as a partner for Sonic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, then Sonic tells Knuckles show up, and we're like, yeah, we gotta do a mission against Eggman. And then the story ends.
Yep.
So I guess we're still doing relationship stuff. This is definitely less callous than the first story, but
sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't really care.
Honestly, the main thing that this does is remind us that Julie Sue and Knuckles are a good couple, that's fine. I like that. I don't care about Amy's stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. We do not have a numbered issue next up. We have the 2007 Free Comic Book Day issue.
I really was not expecting these to actually be substantial, but this is a full-length issue.
Yep.
What is this thing? I've not heard of this.
So Free Comic Book Day is a common. I don't know what day of the year it is, but it's a fairly common time when comic publishers will advertise their comics by giving out free full issues. All right, I know about it through manga. I think Pokemon Adventures has a few issues that were given out for Free Comic Book Day. Or,
gotcha.
Well, mini issues, since that manga got split up into regular and mini issues for some reason.
Yeah, sounds like a neat thing to me. You definitely can get some new readers doing that.
Oh, yeah, it's still a big thing now. I just don't think any of us are really tuned into the comic book world, so we wouldn't have seen it.
Yeah.
There are things that I could do to get that way, but not really.
Yeah, I mean, I still occasionally see you mentioned with Marvel stuff on Google.
But so these are all fully canon. They are a little fluffy because they are meant to onboard new people, but some of them get a little experimental. Starting with this one, which is called Unburying the Hatchet, and it's of course London Yardley. Mm-hmm. Metal Sonic kidnaps regular Sonic, and Eggman implants the blue blur with a neural link that allows Eggman to control his body.
Some real cyberpunk shit.
Yeah, and we have Sonic in captivity. We used Metal Sonic to do it. We haven't seen a real Metal Sonic since Shadow blew up the one before the Metal Troopers story, so that's been a while.
Yeah.
Actually, I guess it hasn't been that long in universe, because that was the last issue of the Penders era, but again, it's been 2 years for us.
Right.
Yeah.
So, the Freedom Fighters get ready to go out and save Sonic, but Sonic is back. Also on this page, when Eggman's getting ready to put the thingy in him, I love his ballerina twirl.
Sonic tries to like get under Eggman's skin by being like, "Oh, it wasn't you who did it. It was Metal Sonic." That's like so weak though, because like that's always how Eggman operates.
Yeah,
Eggman always
Eggman
sends robots,
doesn't.
like,
Yeah, it's not like Eggman is going to grab Sonic himself.
Yeah, I mean, he says that I built Metal Sonic, so the victory is mine by association. And the thing is, he's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah,
it's always been his
weird
robots
moment.
doing it. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, yes, Freedom Fighters get ready to go out and save Sonic, but then Sonic gets back. And we're like, yay, hey, Sonic, you're back. And then Sonic attacks! Ah!
At first, I was like, "Oh, okay, it's a repeat of that one issue from way back when Sonic was brainwashed by the original Robotnik."
Oh yeah.
But it's actually different this time. I love that Sonic can still talk and think normally. They just can't control their body.
I do like that. That's kind of funny.
Yeah. Probably should have warned them before immediately creaming Bunny in the stomach, but...
Well, they were running so... Oh, you're right. Actually, they did get to say something first.
Yeah, he stopped and then started attacking.
Yeah,
oh, well.
I appreciate the thought, but that won't be necessary. How about you start with, hey, I'm being controlled, help!
Yeah, that's a fumble there.
Anyway, Sonic, well, he catches them off guard, but this is... I'm thinking back to how Lauren complained about him making short work of all of his own friends back in that issue, which is a little disheartening.
Yeah, it's still okay. Well, it's not as bad here because like I can totally see Sonic causing chaos because they're so fast compared to everyone. And it like yeah, they get beat up, but you'll see that they kind of get back up a lot of them. Fair. So it's like it's just a temporary tussle, basically.
And in the mind control issue, they saw him coming. So
yeah, this is a lot better than that. It was what I was getting at earlier.
Yeah. Sally calls in some help. We see Eggman controlling Sonic with this. I thought it would be a Genesis controller, but it has a D-pad on the right, 2 sets of shoulder buttons, and only 2 face buttons, a big one and a small one.
This is the perfect example of when a director makes a movie that involves video games but has never played a video game in their life.
Which is so weird, because Yardley can draw a Genesis controller.
Yeah.
I think he literally has in the Sonic X comics.
Yes.
I think he drew the game issue.
I believe so.
Anyway, Sally's help gets here. It's all 7 chaotics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They only last a little bit longer, but, you know.
Hold on, why is Charmy there?
I'm not sure what Saffron was going to do anyway. I'm not even sure if she's a fighter.
Yeah.
Has she ever fought anybody? I don't know. Did she go with them to Angel Island? I guess maybe she did.
I mean, maybe. That was so long ago.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah. Sonic... Only now, after beating up all his friends, does he mention, yeah, there's a neurotransmitter in my ear.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, that's when they start fighting Knuckles. Who apparently is like their perfect stopgap. Like this is the one that Sally was betting on.
So I expected Knuckles, but Knuckles also brings up the fact that Shadow would have made more sense to call in.
Well, they don't have Shadow on speed dial though. They don't really know if he would do it.
They could have. Flynn could have come up with some bullshit excuse.
Yeah, but also it's Sonic versus Knuckles, and for once it's a good justification. You know, they bring up how many times they've fought here, even though they're clearly more friendly with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where I really started to notice. At first, Sonic is just like trash talking Knuckles, even though like they're technically helping them, kind of. Yeah. And then takes a while to be like, oh wait, actually, yeah, there's a neuro controller in my ear.
I guess some of that pent up aggression.
Yeah, it's mostly just a joke. I don't mind it. It's pretty amusing.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. They're being good natured about this. This is not, you know. Well, okay, I was about to say this is not Eggman's master plan, and that is true. Although, on the very next page, Snively gets angry at Eggman for distracting himself with this instead of working on the more comprehensive master plan that they are working on.
Right.
I have so missed the Eggman and Snively dynamic. This is so great when they're coming at each other. I love the drawing when their two faces are just smashed against each other as they're arguing.
Yeah, he's feeling regret for coming back already.
Seriously. They're like, I expected better than this. Like, this is all you're doing? This is the best you've got?
I also want to note Eggman's line here. It's not my fault. The controls are horrendous. I should have spent more time in development. Which is a prescient line.
It's my fault.
Mid to late 2000s Sonic story. Talking about how not enough development time and bad controls. I wonder what Ian's represencing.
That is subtle. I did not think about that. I'm not even sure if that's on purpose, but it probably is. That's great.
That's funny.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say Snively is so over it that they instantly like, you know what? I had something cooking. I'm gonna just bake it right now. Like they're literally just back and they're like already planning a betrayal, which of course they are. That totally makes sense. But it's funny that they're just jumping the gun right now. They're like, I can't stand this. I absolutely cannot stand this. All right, it's time to take over everything right now. Yeah. But then we get this fantastic moment. Because they're like, all right, Eggman, yeah, I'm gonna just prepare the fleet. Don't worry. Everything's great because I am very loyal. And then Eggman is like, I know you are, Snively. Even with all your past treachery, I know you're loyal. That's why everything at New Megapolis is programmed to watch over you. All my robots will help you remember your loyalty. Oh, the subtly menacing Eggman is so good.
Yeah, well, and it helps that it's Metal Sonic too. He's trying to take over Metal Sonic with this USB stick, but he just grabs him around the throat. And it's like Metal Sonic didn't need to wait to do that, but he specifically did it for dramatic timing with Eggman.
Of course.
Yep.
It's funny because they say that Snively has been setting up more than one way of usurping his uncle all this time, and Eggman then says, all right, well, I know about those. You're going to go dismantle all of those plans one by one. And then Snively does it.
Yeah, I get the feeling just as Snively was already like, all right, I'm going to plot this. Eggman was one step ahead of them because last time they're like, oh, you want to rule the world too much to betray me. And that's partially what they're banking on, but also they were definitely not just banking on that.
Yeah. No, not just that.
It's awesome. But so, Sonic and Knuckles crash through the castle, and Knuckles is like, let me punch your head until the thing breaks. And then Sonic's like, no! And then Tails kicks him in the head, and Knuckles can get his hit in, and that literally works.
I love it. I love that. This was from earlier in the fight, too. Knuckles suggested just punching Sonic in the head, and Sonic was like, no, I'm not going to have it. So they argued this out for a while, and then they just did it, and it worked. Yeah. Knuckles was right. Yeah.
Of course.
But also they do get called out for it, which, deserved. I like that it both works and they're ridiculed for it.
It's all good character stuff, even if it is a little fluffy, yeah. But we're not quite done yet. Eggman shows up with Metal Sonic. Oh, he's gone.
Yeah, we've lost another Metal Sonic.
They have been blowing up a lot of these things recently, it feels like. In fact, I think it got to a point where they had destroyed Metal Sonic so many times. We're going to see more of this in the coming issues. They destroy Metal Sonic so often that SEGA has to come and say to Ian, Metal Sonic is not just another badnik. He is a character,
Right. Yeah, I thought I remember you mentioning that.
That's funny.
Yeah. Eggman, he tries to fight. But then he sees he's outnumbered in an excellent panel with all of them standing around him. And then he just kind of runs off.
Yep.
And then we end on a speech where Sonic talks about how great all his friends are. Everybody licks their wounds. Eggman says, all right, enough is enough. We're moving into the big plan, into Overdrive. And then we'll mostly see that next time.
Yeah, I like this a moment at the end because Eggman is kind of acting more of a goof than this Eggman usually is in this comic overall. But this kind of recontextualizes that. Yeah, they're just messing around and stalling basically. And they're like, okay, you know what? That's stupid. Yeah, let's
the free comic book day issue. I can't do anything too crazy.
I suppose so.
Yeah. That's fair. That's honestly a fair take. Yeah.
But it's fun, and if it's not fun, why bother?
Exactly. No, I did like this issue. It was really good.
No, it was fun. Yeah, I didn't hate it.
Yeah. Well, let's move along to something that has a little bit of fun. It's got some other stuff, but this is Sonic 173, and you sure are running.
It's a cover.
It's not very descriptive of what's going on in the issue, but it's
not really.
A perfectly good drawing. Let's see what Antoine is up to. Round up Flynn and Yardley. Antoine proposes to Bunny. And in the fallout, the freedom fighters suddenly scramble to get a stolen Master Emerald from Rouge the Bat with villains in tow. But who cares? Antoine proposed to Bunny. Hell yeah.
Yay.
Oh my gosh, a genuinely sweet moment between these two characters. Love to see it.
Yeah.
It warms at heart because, these two were the best, most stable couple in the comics, really in the franchise, for years. But it was on really shaky ground for a while there with Scourge and Patch and all that shit.
Yeah.
But between the Armand story and now, we have finally put stuff back together and, might as well make it official.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, very happy for that. I also like that Antoine brought Sonic and Amy along because he was too scared to do it alone.
That's very endearing. I like that.
That's endearing, yeah. Be like, I need my friends here so I can do this.
Yeah. I also love, Amy would love something like this. She's bouncing up and down trying to plan the wedding on the spot.
Yeah.
It's just cute.
It's great.
So, now let's go tell Sally about this. Oh, Sally's busy with work. Of course she is. No, I'm sorry. That makes me sound mean to Sally. It's important work, but it's like Sally has definitely thrown herself into her work after all the romantic drama on her end.
Yeah. I enjoy this drawing of Julie Sue being very angry to be a antenna.
Yeah. The Chaotix have gone with Mina on her world tour because she's doing like a music tour.
I forgot that was a thing. That Mina is a singer now.
I kind of forgot Mina existed.
So I remember her as a singer, but it's a little odd because she's taking apparently a big tour around the world. If it's a world tour, apparently, and the Chaotix are just there as security, even though we just had them in the last comic,
Fine.
So I don't know, and they'll be back in the next one. So
don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean the timeline is whatever, but and it's not like it's wrong for them to do that because Eggman did try to have her killed before.
That's true.
But yes, the entire worth of this is in Julie's pouty face because her dread is being used as an antenna.
I hadn't even thought about the like tech dread. I'm like, huh? Yeah, I guess sure, why not? But she's so mad.
Yeah, but apparently Rouge stole the Master Emerald and is selling it off to the highest bidder. What?
Okay, so I already have issue with this because couldn't they just look at Angel Island and see if it's fallen? I guess it depends on where Angel Island is.
So Knuckles is not in contact with Angel Island right now. Remember,
he and his dad are talking.
No, but
Angel Island
is still a location that you could go find.
It could be a little far away potentially. Also, okay, wait a minute. I cannot remember. Has this comic dealt with Angel Island losing the emerald before? And do we have? I could see them having some sort of weird backup thing, at least temporarily.
So, Angel Island we have seen fall, as far as I can remember, only once in the Sonic Adventure arc. And the reason that happened was, did somebody take the Master Emerald, did they absorb the Master Emerald, or did they destroy the Master Emerald? Or was it even the Master Emerald at that point?
It's been so long.
Was that when Mogul broke out? No, Mogul broke out later.
Mogul broke out later.
I don't know.
Yeah, I legit do not know.
Well, either way, the thing is, Angel Island does move in these comics, so if it's not anywhere that is in sight, how they can get a view of it, it's a little shaky, but if Knuckles is just telling them, and they know where Rouge is, they do find Rouge relatively quickly, so it may just be that it didn't occur to them to check because they get this information from Knuckles, and then Rouge is right there.
I guess, yeah.
It is pretty shaky, especially, and, certainly you should be thinking, Rouge would never do that, but that's part of the point, so.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the characters themselves point out how bizarre that is, so it's not hard to reason.
Yeah. So, the Freedom Fighters are on the job. She assigns them before she even hears that Antoine and Bunny are engaged.
Yeah.
And then we cut to the marshlands, wherever that is. That's a location we haven't had before. I guess we've had giant grass plains in these comics at various points, so maybe this is there.
Yeah.
And Sonic is annoyed. He thinks, Sally is kind of been, yeah.
Yeah.
She's been like that recently, even if we understand why. And Antoine is thankfully very sympathetic. He talks about all the terrible things that they've been through recently. And honestly, I just love that Antoine is being a mature adult and that he and Sonic are being friends.
Oh, well, that Sonic even asks, when did you become the voice of reason? And like, I like that he's the voice of reason now. It kind of makes sense for a more mature version of his character.
Antoine has always been kind of the Sokka of the group. He's kind of been the normal guy.
Yeah.
And that giving him a sense of worldliness, I really like.
Yeah, no, I like this Antoine. I'm interesting. The moment we get a more competent writer, Antoine's writing gets a lot better. Oh, the writing in general, obviously, but like another character whose writing has just gone already better.
Well, and also they're allowing him to do stuff.
Yeah, because we hadn't really seen him do a lot even before he was replaced.
Yeah. On the flip side, Sally is, well, she's very self-aware about all of that erratic behavior. And she comes clean to Bunny about it, and she says, "I'm sorry that, all this is going on, and that I'm sending us on a mission right after I learned this." And she's saying, I'm being jealous, and it's like, I get that Ian wanted to take her character back toward the old days, and this is a big part of that, by having her just be upfront about all that. And I don't not appreciate it, because it was torturous to watch some of the stuff that went on with her.
Yeah.
I still wish that they would point the finger at Max for it, but, yeah.
They're not going to.
It's okay, they get it all out there, and Bunny is still here to be a supportive friend and say, I'm not that bothered. So, anyway, here's Fang, with red eyes today.
Oh, I didn't even notice the red eyes.
His eyes aren't normally red, right? They're normally blue, I think.
I think?
Yeah, I don't know. They fight for a while, and Sonic and Antoine are confronted by Bean and Bark on Extreme Gear.
I do like that the Extreme Gear is going to be consistent now. That's nice.
Yeah, we had Knuckles putting his away in the last issue, I think.
Yeah.
And hey, Bean has a line here where he says he got it from deserting the Armada. I wonder what that means.
And
then he also says, our boss told us to scope it out secretly, so don't tell anyone about our secret mission.
Bean is such a goof. They're great.
Yeah.
I don't know what Antoine's sword is made out of, but I love that they can just cut Extreme Gear in half.
That action shot is fucking sick.
Yeah. Well, it's Antoine being fucking cool, which we've wanted for so long.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We get a fucking cool action.
Yep. Sonic and Bean spin through the air as Bean says annoying things, and Sonic throttles him until he shuts up.
Oh, it's not just annoying things. I thought they're spinning on the Extreme Gear, so that means it's like they're doing tricks, right? These are trick names.
Oh my god, you're right.
From Air Riders. It's such a great reference.
I didn't even notice. That's hilarious. Awesome. Okay, but yes, so we take out the thugs. These guys are not the goon squads, they're just the thugs.
Right.
Yep.
I don't know when they start calling them the hooligans, but Bean, Bark, Fang becomes kind of a triad. Yeah, meanwhile, Rouge is sitting, waiting for the heavy hitters to come to take the emerald. And Mogul and Nagus are here.
Yeah, hello.
Nagus hisses at her for some reason.
Nagus does not talk now.
Is that just going to become a thing now?
Right now, between the egg grapes and Adam's Chaos Emerald theft, neither of them have any Chaos energy left.
Right.
Which is fine for Mogul, who is still immortal, but Nagus, I guess, is it the insanity poisoning from the Zone of Silence, maybe?
Yeah.
So I don't... Oh, maybe. Wait a minute. The egg grapes were doing something with the Zone of Silence originally, weren't they? That was the part of the original plan. So maybe that's why. Because I was like, why does this affect Nagus at all? That didn't make sense to me. And I'm like, shouldn't Mogul be like Ash now?
Well, so Nagus has always had magic to counteract the insanity stuff. Right. So maybe because he has no energy, he can't use his magic, and this is what he would have been if he never had it at all.
Yeah, makes sense.
I don't know. And yeah, Mogul, I don't know. He still can do magic for some, because he gets ready to attack them at one point. I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, Nagus displays new powers, so apparently, I don't know if this is magic or what, he can fade in and out of shadows? Did he ever do that before?
No, that's a new ability.
Yeah,
they said that was new.
Okay, so, a weird thing. Maybe they just wanted Bunny to have an opportunity to punch him in the face, but,
I mean, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
They do say... Mogul does say that Nagus somehow gained the power, so I guess even they don't understand. It's supposed to be random.
That's so weird. I don't think they ever explained that.
Huh. Yeah.
Because, yeah, no, late era Flynn era has a lot of Nagus stuff going on, and I don't think they ever explained that, because I'm taking notes on that right now. Weird. Anyway, Sally drops a motorbike on Mogul, and the fight's over.
Yep, these comics are finally recognizing how pathetic Mogul and Nagus really are.
Yeah.
These guys were main villains less than 10 issues ago, and now they're getting humbled in one hit each.
It's great. It's great.
It's kind of funny, yeah.
I like them being made fun of and depowered. It's silly, and maybe it'll force them to be a little more interesting later. I would hope.
I'd hope so, but I don't honestly expect it.
Well,
it's okay.
Yes, they are actually. They do good things with both these characters.
Okay.
Oh, well, good.
Yep. So that just leaves Rouge, who is not a threat. She never stole the Master Emerald at all.
Right.
Which is clever, but okay, come on. You can. This is a pretty difficult thing to fake. I feel like a lantern under the table is a little. I don't know.
It's also drawn incorrectly because when the tarp is over the table, you can see it has like the curve of the top of the emerald.
It does, yeah.
But the table is not shaped that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
It's cheap. I hate when they do that in like media where they actually do it incorrectly to really deceive you.
Now, it is thankfully a bit of better characterization for Rouge, because she would do this. She wouldn't actually not steal the emerald. She might steal the emerald, but she wouldn't give it to somebody else. But it's also that she wanted to prove specifically to Knuckles for some reason, which maybe this is more of the Rouge Julie Sue, but I don't know. It's weird. She doesn't come off as malicious, but...
I mean, I thought actually that they had something sneaky that was still going on and we would see, because this doesn't really add up in my head, but...
I don't know. It's weird. And she should have just told the heroes, because, like, she says it wasn't for you, it was for Knuckles, but Knuckles isn't here, he's busy.
Yeah.
True, yeah.
I don't know. That's the one black mark I would say on this story. It's just weird. And it's not that big. But the heroes regroup. Antoine and Bunny ask Sonic and Sally to be the best man and maid of honor, respectively. Makes sense. And everyone goes home, looking a little less dramatic than they did before. And with 5 captured villains in the bag.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Sonic even says the future looks bright. Nothing could possibly go wrong now. Anyway, here's Eggman.
Here's the Egg Fleet.
Ready for action.
Yeah.
Why is Snively's jacket red now?
I noticed
because
that.
I think this is a different colorist.
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, this won't stick then. Okay.
No, this is a Jason Jensen issue. What the hell?
Huh. Then it's probably still a color error.
Wait, did Jensen color the other one? This doesn't look like Jensen. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It does not matter at all. Yeah. But the point is, they're getting ready for action, so clearly something bad is coming.
Yep.
We still got one more side story left for this issue, though, and it's actually the first one that Flynn and Yardley ever did together. This is See You Later Chow, Part 1. With a new Chow at home, Sonic tells the story of how he got it, discovering a Chow garden with Tails and Knuckles. And you can sort of tell this was the first one that Flynn and Yardley did, because the art is a little weird.
A little bit.
It's not bad, but you can tell that he refined his style.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, this Chow followed Sonic home. Jules thinks it's pretty neat, but Bernadette wants an explanation. So this entire
that's
story
fair.
Is Sonic telling what happened.
That's fair. If I walked in with a cat, my dad would want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
You have a cat.
If I walked in with another cat.
Don't you have another cat?
I have only the single cat.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Anyway, Rotor picked up some weird readings around the old Lake of Rings. So Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles went to check it out, and there was a Chow garden there. And
kind of weird that Tails is like, all right, guys, don't get into a fight this time. Like, that's a thing that they do. I mean, I guess they did recently, but that was because Sonic was mind controlled. So, like, I don't get what they're referencing.
This feels like it's a story that's supposed to also be set like a while back.
Oh, well, maybe you're right.
Well, when you consider it was written and drawn before 160,
yeah.
Now Sonic and Knuckles had been friends by that point anyway, but still. Anyway, yeah, we learn a lot about Chao, which I guess is been a long time coming since we've barely interacted with Chao and Archie. The most that we've seen Chao is when they take Gruckles to the afterlife.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole take the traits of what they're exposed to thing from Sonic X is at play here. That is to say, the Sonic X comics.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, they draw the Speed Chao getting Sonic's quills. They draw the Flight Chao getting the Knight's hair thingies. The quote-unquote Strength Chao does not change the shape of its head, though. It just climbs on Knuckles' dreads.
Yeah.
And they also name the Chao Chronic Chails and Chuckles.
Sonic acts like Chuckles is the stupid name, but honestly, Chronic is the worst name of those three.
Honestly, I think Chails is the dumbest, because it's the only
one
I was
gonna say, I think Chails is the worst.
Is Chails a word?
No. It sounds like it has a better ring to me. Chuckles is, of course, the best.
Well, Chuckles is the best, yeah.
Well, Chronic is an obvious reference to Chronic the Hedgehog, as we've already met on this podcast.
You're right. I didn't think about that.
Anyway, Eggman attacks, and that's a cliffhanger.
Yep.
It's pretty low stakes. Not too worried about the second half.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and finish off this episode with the cover they fucked up in Sonic number 174.
Yeah, what's the deal with this?
Okay, so on the normal release of this cover, you have the big wedding going on with everybody, but on the normal release of this issue, the cover has a big heart with a question mark on it on the normal release, even though you already know it's Antoine and Bunny. So
yeah,
what it is,
I don't know why.
What it is that they were originally using the question mark version for advertisements and solicits, since the plot point of Antoine's proposal was only in the last issue. They didn't want to spoiler it for everybody.
Sure.
But then, by the main issue, they accidentally printed that as the main issue cover.
Gotcha, that makes sense.
Damn, that's a screw up.
Yeah. But thankfully, the line art does exist, so we're using the remastered fan restoration that implements them properly here. So good job on Yardley for still making that available.
Nice.
Yep.
It's a good cover, too. I like the Fountain of Tears for Mamie.
I like that Knuckles has like this traditional echidna garb or something on.
I was going to bring that up in the issue, but yeah, it's kind of neat how it's very sort of tribal.
Yeah.
Anyway, Union, Flynn and Yardley. Everyone bands together to make Antoine and Bunny's wedding day as perfect and special as possible. The only holdout is Espio, who's facing indescribable horror in Eggman's new Megapolis base. What kind of terror is headed for the heroes? So, yeah, everyone's getting ready for the wedding. I like that the character portraits spoil that Antoine is absolutely terrified before we even see him.
You could guess.
Yeah. But we got Sonic in a tux with the gaudy red bow tie. It's fine, it's cartoon characters, but
yeah.
That's fine.
We get to see Tails, who is still fucking hung up on Fiona, good god.
Gosh.
Sonic is the one who actually dated her, and he's gotten over her faster. Whatever. Anyway, they it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. They head to Antoine's, and he has at least 5 different chaotics trying to calm his nerves. I like the Vector says, besides, you haven't faded in public since a while. It's very Shadow, don't kill yourself yet, coded.
Yeah, it definitely is, yeah.
Espio is not here because, as we've established from the summary, he is on a surveillance mission. Knuckles is like, don't worry, he'll be back in time for the ceremony. But Espio, as we saw in that comic where he blew up Golden Hive, he can be cocky sometimes. And we see his mission in progress with narration hyping him up as he infiltrates New Megapolis. But I actually think it's really good that they have this here because A, we need to build up the Eggman as the threat because of what's coming, but also it manages to mean that this issue is not just the schmaltzy wedding stuff, so it keeps the tension up. But it also doesn't ruin the moment for Antoine and Bunny. I
don't mind the way the wedding is done, but I don't mind this being here either, yeah.
Yeah. We do get lots of little character details here. We have Amy. We have Rosie sort of pushing Amy off because she's so excitable that she's not really helping. We have Julie Sue talking about not wanting to wear frilly dresses, which we kind of established from that one date issue with her.
I'm surprised there's no editor's note for this because Sally references how Bunny wanted to be a stylist when they first joined the Freedom Fighters. I'm like, wow, that is back when Bunny was first introduced in the comics. That's a deep callback.
Man, yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, well, and it's presented with irony because Sally is the one who does Bunny's hair here.
Exactly, yeah.
And actually, on this page, I also like the detail that Bunny does not put a glove over her mechanical arm. It's kind of a let my form speak for itself, so to speak.
Guess so.
It's part of her identity. I think it's good.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's nothing else too crazy here. They say Antoine's good. They say we're happy. All that stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Espio is, he's hunting around the factories, he's stealthing around, but he discovers something very dangerous, some kind of big, powerful battle armor. He's not back yet, though.
Right.
No.
Knuckles and Julie Sue say they are not interested in marriage, which is probably SEGA mandated, but it is also a lore reference that is a character detail. Because they weren't married in 25 years later, which Pender's only put in there because technically he and his wife do not have a formal marriage.
I forgot about that.
Huh. I don't even remember that, yeah.
Yeah. But it's Ian being the lore master. There's still some awkwardness between Sonic and Sally, but it's clear that everyone is kind of keeping it together for their friends.
Yeah.
Also, Max is in a wheelchair again, which he used to be able to walk, but I guess he got poisoned, so... I'm still keeping an eye on him. I don't remember if he has anything big and crazy. We also get another hint from Amadeus that he is planning some changes to how Elias runs things.
You're making him really sauce.
Yeah, this is framed very forebodingly.
Yeah, it's like... It's weird because he just got back and is talking about this stuff, but I guess Argentum did give him lots of ideas about justice system and governmental structure, so.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, SBO discovers, he finally uncovers the full details of Eggman's plans, and, well, we don't get to see precisely what they are, but they are very, very dangerous, so he needs to get out fast. But he gets sloppy, and a bot spots him.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Elias, I guess, is officiating it. I guess it makes sense since he's the king, and he would have that in a kingdom, maybe?
Yeah.
I guess I'm so used to weddings having, pastors do it, but they don't really have a religious society in Knothole as far as I can tell.
Not particularly.
I guess they had the source of all, but that's gone.
Out of principle, I don't think I'd want the source of all marrying me anyway.
I didn't mean...
Isn't that actually how it worked?
No.
So, you really don't want
because
that.
when you become royal... The king.
Wait, actually.
Well, I'm glad they didn't do that. He gives a big speech about togetherness and bravery and courage and all that, and how it's so good, and that they're going to be married.
Get this great shot of all the people in the seats here at the wedding, and you've got all these funny characters here. You can see. You've got Dulcie, haven't seen them for a while. You can see Biggs there, and I think that's that one eagle guy from the Substitute Freedom Fighters on the left middle, if I'm remembering correctly.
I think it is.
Oh, damn, the old guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's a couple of Substitute Freedom Fighters in there. I think I see Penelope, that might be Hamlin back there. We get a different crowd shot later on, and I'll talk about that in a sec. But this is all... sort of ramping up, because as SBO sets off every alarm in the city, more and more robots are chasing after him, and for one page, we have all the panels mixed together as this stuff is going on both at once, as Eggman is enclosing on SBO and the wedding ceremony, pronouncing them husband and wife, and you have the big Eggman overlay in the background.
I didn't even notice Eggman in the background, that's great.
It's like, it really is, we'll give you this ceremony, but something big is coming.
I'm glad we got the ceremony. I was nervous. I was expecting it to be interrupted.
Same.
I'm glad that it
exactly.
It doesn't. Yeah.
which is why I'm really glad they played it like this.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be fair to Antoine and Buddy, quite frankly.
Honestly,
exactly,
it really
exactly.
wouldn't.
Again, I'm glad they did it this way. And big celebration. Everybody's happy. And I want to note, on the right here, you actually have Ian and his wife's OCs in the bottom right.
Oh, that's nice.
Gotcha.
So that's cute.
That's nice, yeah.
Also, hey, that's Hershey on the left. I haven't seen her in a while.
Yeah.
And it's honestly just such an excellent page turn because you go from celebration to horror. One moment, you're watching everybody in Knothole rejoicing, Amy sobbing with joy, and the next you see SBO get fucking disintegrated by Eggman with some sort of evil green arm cannon.
Oh, that's what's going on there. I thought that they were being hit with glue on the wall or something. It's really hard to...
I'm gonna be honest, I thought it was a new form of roboticization.
Well, you'll see what it actually is next week.
It does look like he's being fucking disintegrated now that I look closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that I see that, I can see that too.
The important thing is he blasts him with something very evil, and then we end on a big shot of him with the entire Eggman empire behind him saying, they don't stand a chance. Gotta tap into that Dean Bristow performance. And good story.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Stage is set for something bigger than a wedding. But not just yet, because we have to finish the Chow story.
Gosh darn it. Here's for an anticlimax.
See you later, Chow Part 2. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles protect the Chow from Eggman's attack, even though this is all kind of a waste of his time. It's not even that it's a bad story, it's just that it doesn't belong here.
Story. Yeah.
Complete whiplash.
Yeah. Eggman attacked the Chow Garden because he picked up the same weird energy as Rotor before, but he can't do anything with Chow. They don't have much value to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's this great moment where Sonic's like, why are you here? It's just a bunch of Chow. And Eggman's like, wait, really? There's no Chaos Emeralds?
No Chaos Emeralds?
No rings? No Power Gems? Didn't you make the Power Gems?
Did I already ask about rings?
Yes.
It's a funny callback.
And Eggman he's so sad, he's so disappointed. This is another good, would make a good profile picture panel.
That is a good profile picture. And then he's like, well, I could just destroy the place. That works too.
I can settle for wanton destruction. So yeah, he drops a giant drill into the pond, and Knuckles catches it, so good job, Knuckles. But then it has rocket thrusters on it to make it spin. So Knuckles has to get help from Chuckles the Chow to lift it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Let's go!
Chow heroism. But yes, Tails reprograms it to do something, I'm not sure. And then Sonic spin dashes to redirect it so the rockets make it slam into Eggman's hovercraft. And that's kind of it. You know, day is saved. We do get the legendary panel, the We Bad panel from Sonic and Knuckles.
Yep.
It's such a weird exchange. I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
It's,
When I saw you post it, I actually thought the text was edited. Like, what is this exchange?
Well, I mean,
I've seen this for years.
We're cool, we're so awesome. But
it's not funny.
But because if I bad and you bad, then we bad. It's just silliness. It's just weird.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I still think it's kind of funny, but anyway, the day is saved. It's part of it is that they're gloating about their victory, so that Tails can follow it up with the Chow Garden still got destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This sad Chow would also make a good profile picture.
Yeah. Good faces.
Yeah.
But so Sonic just brings them to the actual Knothole Lake of Rings, and I'm sure they will stay there for a long time. And we also get to see that Jules is responsible for the birth of Omochao.
Oh,
that is really funny.
That's funny, yeah.
True horror going on in this story. And well, that's our issues for tonight. Mostly good. I would say that it is. You can see the line going up in the quality chart. Definitely the romantic drama issue is certainly something, but it also kind of had to happen, so I don't blame them exactly.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it existing per se.
Yeah.
It's
It's the cost of reshaping a lot of Archie Sonic.
Yeah.
But I largely enjoyed these. Part of it is also we're all Antoine and Bunny fans, so it
getting
it
this
catered to us in a very specific manner.
Yeah, this was a very
And we're also Eggman and Snively fans, and boy, are we going to eat next time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because next time on Deep Dive Zone, we have a milestone issue, and it is... I said this last time, but it is my favorite issue. Which I'm worried is me hyping it up, and now it's going to be like a disappointment, but I think it is going to be. I think it's going to be really fucking awesome.
Well, there's only one way to find out.
Yep, and that's for us to stop talking. Goodbye, everybody. No, I'm kidding. No,
right.
I'm just gonna do our outro like normal. I'm going to avoid the awkwardness. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to my wonderful co-host for being here. If you like this episode, please feel free to share, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, comments, criticisms, suggestions, or feedback, you can reach us at any of the links in the link tree in the description. I hope you all have a great rest of your week. We'll see you next week for a very exciting episode. I hope you all have a great rest of your night, and take care.